Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. It is football season. It's Premier League season. The Tigers are still playing. Download the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app today. Enjoy the sign-up bonuses. Get your football futures in. Look at your Week 1 lines. U.S. Open tennis is starting. Great time to have it at your fingertips. The Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app. You can also head down to Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook at Firekeepers Casino off I-94 in Battle Creek. Get the entire sportsbook experience right here. Casino experience right here in Michigan. Better than anything you'll get in Vegas. Casino floor, restaurants. It's all right here. And you know what else? It's not 130 degrees outside. So it doesn't suck. You can have a muskox flannel on and go to the casino and enjoy yourself, right? Go to the Firekeepers Casino on I-94 in Battle Creek, and also the Firekeepers Casino and Sportsbook app at your fingertips. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I will. Like such a blow to the head. Well, he's no Rube. So anyway, but
what's up, buddy?
Sounds like a clip from another podcast I know.
Yeah, that was from Spartans Speak.
Yeah, we're
you and your boy Solari. I heard my name mentioned. Apparently, someone sent it to me, so figured I had to put it in here.
We're a bowl of laughs on that show.
Do you guys do it in the same? Are you in the same room, or you do it on a?
No,
Zoom?
we're separate. Yeah, it's like a Teams chat thing, and we have equipment that link. Yeah, right. Yeah, so
yeah, it's not as fun, right?
It's not. It's still a good time. We used to do it in the same room. That's when I had the timer. You remember I used to. I had one of those hourglass timers.
It's always good for a podcast if you have one of those, by the way.
Hourglass timer from a board game, which we're still missing for the board game because I forgot to put it back. And you flip it over, so each of us could only talk for a minute at a time, and would know at that point.
Always makes for a great podcast. Yeah. You know. Where's your laptop today? Did you fry your laptop? You said you might have fried your laptop.
Today's been a little bit of a day. Yeah, so let
it all out here, man.
Michigan State football open practice availability, which was about a half hour, and then there's like an hour in between before interviews with Pat Fitzgerald, and they had the team captains today, and Rodney Bullard was available after being announced that he was going to be eligible to play receiver for Michigan State. Anyway, in that hour, I went to Big B Coffee, and I'm sitting there and somehow knocked my coffee over onto my MacBook. And I had the lid on, so not that much got on, and I thought I was good. I cleaned it off quick, turned it over, it didn't look that bad. Start typing, I'm good. I sent one email, then my computer turns itself off.
Oof.
Turned it back on, turns itself off. And it did it politely. Like this, it wasn't even like we're fried. It's just like,
I'm just going to be over here dying.
Yeah, we can't be on right now. So
resume I did your normal day.
Did some research. I heard that wasn't good. Coffee's not good for... Called Capital Mac, the fine folks on East Michigan Avenue.
Yeah.
And I had to drop that off on the way back. And we're hopeful. I'm hopeful. Otherwise, it's a $1,400
Hunter
mistake.
Biden laptop, the Graham Couch laptop. Yeah. What's on that?
Yeah, that's right. They asked
me how much food is in there.
Well, they asked me if there's anything that needed to be backed up. I said, no, you just destroy the evidence if you can't save it. So that's where my day has gone, which started at when Cora decided 4 a.m. was going to be the beginning of her day. So
of course,
that's when it began.
She just woke up.
Soccer is boring.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, now entertain me.
Yeah, it was. There's nothing worse than that moment where you realize her eyes are wide open and they're not going back to sleep anytime soon. Like she's ready. Let's go. And anyway,
I'm jealous.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah. One of the many joys of fatherhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, these are small problems, and the fact that I'm whining about a nice MacBook that I can afford to replace, and a beautiful daughter who got up a little early. I'm not really whining. Life is really good. Just
Is that your work laptop? Is that the LSJ Dime? Or
No,
do you have to,
so I have an LSJ one, but it's a PC. Remember I was talking about the PCs with Solari last week and how bad his computer is? Like I have an old MacBook, but I have but that has a lot of food on it, the old MacBook. But I have a PC through work that I can get by for a few days. What
do they give you guys? Like those big Toshiba, those heavy boys? Mine's
decent. It's just a PC, so it's not decent. Like picture the worst Mac you can imagine. It's still 10 times better than a PC. So
I know.
It's not. It is what it is. I get through it.
I'm an Apple truther.
Yeah,
all my devices are Apple. I know. Say what you want about them, but they stay working unless you pour a giant coffee on them.
Yeah, not great.
What's wild is that you actually cleaned it up, not much liquid, and it's still.
Yeah, it must have hit the spot. Yeah, and maybe it's okay. The place over there, Capital Mac, they're great at stuff like this. They will, if it's just one or two things, better than taking it to the Apple store where they'll go, oh my God,
Oh, I thought this was a live read.
Sorry,
we have a new sponsor.
I love Capital Mac. I would happily bring them on as a sponsor if we could do it because they are fantastic. As somebody who spilled a lot of food on computers.
Yeah,
I've got a good relation. They're like, "Are you in the computer?" I was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry."
A lot of chargers dropped.
Yeah,
all sorts of things.
A lot of things. So I'm not looking at my phone bored. Sometimes if you ever watch Ebling's show on here, it looks like he's like falling asleep bored looking at his phone, and he's actually reading stuff. He's not doing that. He's like doing the interviews. But I hate shows where people use their phone as their main device because it looks like you've lost interest in what the
how good
guest
is your like eyesight? Someone that has like one good eye, like I can't use like I love. That's why I like my MacBook because I need things a little bit bigger. When you have one good eye,
the worst device for hanging out with somebody is the Apple Watch, because I don't think I'll ever get over it. Like they get a message and they check their wrist, and to me it always looks like, are you bored with me? Like like I hate that.
I turned off all of my notifications. Yeah. I only get, unfortunately, I might need to change this as well. Detroit Tiger updates.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
So that is the only thing that comes to my phone, or excuse me, to my watch. So if I ever check my watch, it's because of that or whatever.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, I think we've got a good show. We're going to try and get it all in today. We'll see. We got some good takes and whatnot. Do you want to lead us off, sir?
I mean, is there anything from MSU football that you want to talk about?
I mean, not that it's an unbelievable.
I mean, is the Bullard thing a big deal? I mean, I saw people going a little nuts on it.
It could be. It's an interesting story because it's a guy who, by a lot of accounts, probably should have had. It should not have been hard for him to be eligible this year. It came down to whether the class he took his first year in college was part-time. It appears there were records that showed that, so it shouldn't have been a question. And then when you have all these other guys who are in football, like playing in NFL training camps and now coming back to college football, it seems like a guy who may or may not have taken a full-time course at Valdosta State as a freshman that started his 5-year clock, like or that sort of thing seems like maybe that's not the hill for the NCAA to really put its stamp on, and
meanwhile you got guys coming from the NFL back to college.
Yeah, it's just like, so you're happy for him. I think it could be good for Michigan State because Michigan State has a receiver room that's a little intriguing. Doesn't have a guy like a Nick Marsh. Doesn't have a guy you go, boy, that's an NFL talent, but has 4 or 5 guys you're kind of curious to see. And I was talking to Alessio Milivojevic today, 12 times fast. I'm getting good at that.
Milo.
Yeah. About just the difference between having one great wideout and having the system and the matchups more dictate it, right? Like, and I think there is a difference for a quarterback, and I think it's often healthier unless you have a really, truly dominant special receiver who's also great at their craft. Like Nick Marsh was not there yet. Nick Marsh could be dominant. He was a physically dominant player, had great moments. But he was not yet somebody when he was at Michigan State who owned his craft to the point that like you can feature that guy no matter what. He's going to find a way open. He's not only a great athlete, but he's really savvy. He wasn't super savvy yet as a receiver. And so I think sometimes when you're trying to get the ball to somebody who's got some advantages that a true number one receiver, but isn't quite as seasoned as like a veteran guy. The best veteran guy I've ever covered in this sense was when I covered Greg Jennings back when I lived in Kalamazoo.
Oh, no kidding.
In Western Michigan. Yeah, but that was a guy, it did not matter who what team knew about him or whatever. He was not only a great athlete, but he was incredibly savvy, so it was worth getting the ball to him. You could tell the quarterback, you throw the ball to this guy, and that was a good way of doing offense. You have to have certain kinds of guys for that to work and be featured, and maybe this will work better. I don't know. I think my overall first take of the day is we really need football to get here. We need the season to get here for this reason. We are in a much worse part of the summer than July. July is creativity. Everybody knows half the people aren't engaged. Some of the shows are funny. Some of the takes are fun. People get angry about the Tigers or the World Cup or if there's a football take, whatever. We're getting to the point now where people are getting desperate and the discourse is just kind of...
And the Tigers are to blame.
Well, it's not that. It's just there's always going to be football right now. People are getting to the end of the summer. Like, you see what happens with Jackson Kohler and, he's going to BYU, and you get all these people online talking about, Izzo's never going to win second natty. What's he thinking? How does he not take Kohler? This is why MSU doesn't get it done under him. And, look.
You're talking about 97-1? Is that what you're talking about?
There was a take there. But that was, it was.
These guys are trying to fill some radios.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Late August, filling radio.
Right.
It's either parroted from other people or other people are parroting that. And the point being, there are lots of ways you can question over the last 5 years whether Izzo died trying, right, in terms of trying to win a second national championship. I do not think this is one of them. I do not think for a guy who has basically said he thinks his locker room is really important and his culture is really important to winning at the highest level, and then has maybe the deepest team he's ever had. It's not that Kohler wouldn't be an effective player for him, but certainly has a guy like Cam Ward who's slotted at that power forward position now at his time, right? You pay Aiden Bonk, Anton Bonk. Bonkers.
Yeah.
You pay Bonkers more than the school president to come in and be a receiver be a center for you. And like and all these guys think this is the role they've worked for all summer. This is the role they've been recruited to play. And then you're going to threaten that with bringing back a guy. I don't think you do that. And I think also that it wasn't just MSU side. I think for Jackson Kohler, something fresh will be helpful.
You're right.
Yeah. And so I just think it was a really uninformed late summer take. And you see all these things like, Michigan State ranked like 120th by Fox Sports Today in college football, way below their first opponent. You see all these sort of weird, like people are desperate. Right? Nobody knows that shit. Nobody knows what Toledo is who has a new coach. Nobody knows what Michigan State is. Not people cover Michigan State. Certainly people don't cover Michigan State. People are just desperate for takes and for engagement, and we need to get there. And the thing that sucks is because there's a dearth of real takes right now, and of takes that have meat to them and make sense. And this is the problem in the digital age that I don't think is actually healthy for us, because we have no escape from it. Like it used to be, you go back 25 years, 20 years even, back when, a lot of people who covered a team would then disappear for 3 months, and you do a big story here if something broke or whatever. And if you were a fan, you craved what sort of information you could get. And, I remember the Pistons free agency stuff in like the late 90s. Were they going to sign Derek Coleman? And being on vacation in Maine and going to the Saco Library and printing off articles and reading them on the beach, but I'd find like 2 or 3 articles, and that was it. And that was great. And that filled what I needed. And those were, reporting based columns and other things. And it wasn't like, just constant crap that you see now. The constant crap, we don't need it. It was better when it wasn't there. It was better when people actually took time away. It was better when that stuff didn't exist. It was better when we were able to step away from it and not feel the need to fill time. And I'm not talking about this show. But I'm just saying it was better when, as a sort of a sports culture, when we had off seasons, and it allowed us to, get excited when something actually came back, when something was real news, when there was real discourse. And I think we're at a point now where we are desperate for something to happen that people can react to that's real.
Well, of course. But I think it's also up to you to filter that out yourself, because no one else is going to filter those. Things were filtered out for us in the past, but now you have to watch stuff, and you see stuff like that, and you can't let it bother you. I think that's the biggest problem. People let it bother them from some certain people that say things that are outlandish, or if they're trying to fill time because they have a radio show or a podcast or just trying to get clicks. Like, you have to ignore a lot more now, and I don't have a problem doing that. I still follow things that get me angry, get me a little hyped up, because I need to do that. But all of these things and all of these takes, like someone can have a take about Izzo is not serious about winning a second natty. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know who that person is. Like, I don't know who's putting their name beyond that or on that. So why would I take it seriously and come on this show and go, I can't believe? And then we get on here and go, people are saying. Like what people are saying.
Who is they? Right,
people I don't care about are saying. Well, then why are we even talking about it? Because now it becomes a narrative because we heard it on something where people are trying to fill time, and now we take it seriously and bring it to this show and that, like it's a fact. And then we get offended and people are pissed off at this side. It's just like, I don't know.
I've been guilty of this too.
It's taken me a while to get to this point, so I'm not saying I've figured everything out, but I'm trying to do the best I can to not drive myself crazy anymore.
Absolutely. I've been guilty of filling time, even on this show, filling time with takes that you are a stretch. You know, you're like, all right, I gotta have something. It's a Monday.
But we ask for those, and people want to come in and try to flamethrow them. But I mean, if we read them and take them serious, you know, I'm
talking about our own though. I'm talking about driving in. 5 years ago, we were being like, all right, let's figure out what we're gonna do on this Monday. But
that's why I don't like the hot take show. But even though we call it a hot take show, because I like to just talk about things that are interesting to me and not necessarily having to form some. I mean, that's the thing we're trying to get away from because it ruined ESPN. I mean, look how bad that's become now because that's all they want to do is be hot take central.
What I would advise people, and I don't, if it's not me you follow, that's great. But I would advise people when you have a team you like, be it Michigan State or anything else, that you find 3 or 4 people or 1 or 2, whatever it is, you find a few sources that you trust, you like, they can be
in respect.
Yes, voices who are both in reporting and analysis and whatever it is. Find those people, use them, bookmark them. Try to stay off of the social media stuff that's going to give you, just going to feed your algorithm and stuff like that, because you will find yourself not only more informed, less angry. You'll have a better attention span if you stay off that stuff. Like, I don't know where I'm going with in the future with the phone and all that stuff. Like, I can already see Cora's eyes almost annoyed and watching me when I'm on my phone too much. And we have decided, I think we are going to have a box. When you come in the house, the phone goes in the box. After 5 o'clock, no, we're not playing on the
phones. How's your wife going to know where you are?
Well, if you're away, she'll know. If I'm away, she'll know. But yeah, she trusts me. The whole point of that conversation in the last show was she does trust me, despite the fact she's tracking my location. So yeah, I mean that stuff's going to change. I think I'm going to be healthier for it. I've thought about getting a flip phone and just saying screw all this stuff. I'm not going to do it.
You can get a basic phone. Stop with the flip phone thing. That was like my Uncle Ron used to do back in the day. But he could get away with that because he was an older guy that could really give a shit. But you can have a normal, like a smartphone and take apps off and do something like that. But yeah.
Anyway,
I know it was interesting watching my nephew, who's 7 years old, went out to lunch, getting him some stuff for his first day of school coming up. And, of course, he wants that phone out while he eats as well. And I can't sit there, because that's how I grew. I mean, we didn't have phones, but, I was able to watch TV. That's why I still do it to this day. So like when I eat dinner, it's like in the living room with the TV on and stuff like that. But that's how I was kind of raised.
But the evidence is different. Like, this is the thing. Well, and I don't want this to be a parenting show, but the evidence is different. That like the iPad and the tablets are much worse for you than watching television, because watching television requires like an attention span. Like watching a 30-minute show or watching a movie, not so bad. The stuff where you're constantly interacting on there, that's the stuff that fries your brain. And I know that, we'll see. I'm hoping, it gets easier, that more people realize this. And by the time Cora's old enough to beg for it, we're not.
It'll probably be worse. TikTok. I was watching my nephew. Yeah, he flips through those TikToks as well.
It's not good. It's not good.
No, I was watching TikTok.
I was watching I think I might have mentioned this. We have a friend who were staying with us in Marquette, and she was showing us this YouTube video that basically was how her brain worked, and it was bizarre. And I said, "This is the ad for Xfinity. Like, cable is better. You stay away."
It showed how her brain worked.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, man, this is what too much YouTube does. This is not. And again, we're on YouTube, and we appreciate all of you on YouTube watching us. But once again,
but don't let it rot your brain.
Yeah, don't let it.
Yeah. Just watch our show and then get off YouTube.
If you watch our show, you have an attention span. This damn thing sometimes lasts 2 hours. So,
it does. Yeah.
All right. What's your take?
All right.
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers gambling update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Lee.
Well, the Tigers are pretty much dead, right? 2 for 8. Their last 10. Tampa Bay and the Dodgers coming in. No more betting this team, right? They're dead.
You can't.
I'm sick of betting this
team. Even Troy Melton, not reliable. You can't bet for, you can't bet against. But you definitely can't bet for.
So it's becoming easy to ignore. But so while I'm trying to ignore that, I'm flipping around and watching some other things about other baseball teams because I do like the game of baseball. And we probably won't see it next year, so we might as well cherish it now. But I did see in the last 2 starts, Jeff Rieger tweeted out the pitch count for Tarek Skubal, and he said, wow, Skubal is a workhorse now. 109 and 106 pitches in his last 2 starts with the Dodgers. And I don't know if you saw Casey Mize and what he did. He slipped in the dugout and messed up his ankle with the Padres, so he's going to be, who knows, he's going to be monitored for however long, and who knows whenever he'll come back. But it made me, I was really interested to see that Skubal's, like, are we being lied to as a fan base?
Well, because
were we lied to all those? Like, I know the loose bodies thing with,
hold on,
Skubal's.
the context of what you're saying is he had only gone over that many pitches, I think, once since 2024 or 3 or something like that. Anyway, he hit the amount of the fact that he's gone to 106 twice.
Right,
it is more than he'd done with the Tigers. Like.
And then, well, because, AJ was telling us how many after post games of how we're trying to save Tarek and all of these things. And, in 2025 against Cleveland, he did pitch 107 pitches against Cleveland in that unbelievable outing. But in 2024, I mean, look at the pitch count, 92 pitches and 84 in the Game 5 that we constantly talk about here. But why is it that he can get to Los Angeles, his destination now, and it annoys me in seeing him in post-game talking about how we're a great team and we're the ones to beat. Like, everything about Tarek Skubal annoys me. But I have to go back to our organization, the Detroit Tigers. Are we being lied to as a fan base? Because we've talked about it last week about AJ Hinch and how much I can't stand his post-game interviews and basically just telling you what you need to hear, nothing, no real information, and this guy is going to be out for a while and blah, blah, blah. But I just love that all of a sudden, now that he's with the Dodgers, that Dave Roberts can sit there and make him a workhorse when the playoffs are coming up. When a time where, do you need him to really pitch if you're the Dodgers with their pitching staff and bullpen? I mean, our bullpen is complete ass, but we never got to see him go into the 6th inning or anything like that. So it's just the Casey Mize thing. It makes me happier and happier every time I see updates coming out of San Diego, because I didn't want really Casey to be traded, but I mean, his injury things and the way they treat some of these baseball players, it absolutely blows my mind. So it was just really disappointing because you really can't get mad at anything else with the Tigers because it's pretty much over. So you can watch your 2 former guys sit there and be heroes. I just don't know why throughout the whole season we're being told, like, are we just, were we protecting him for when the Dodgers were going to get him? I mean, what was the idea behind that?
Well, the Padres are suckers. Anybody who took Mize and gave you anything is a sucker. But that's my opinion. I'm just not as high on Casey Mize because I think your best ability is availability, and he was always like to me. It felt like 80% of the time I saw Casey Mize, he was walking off the field with the Tigers trainer, and like that was.
It was worse than that. He would throw a pitch, and someone would come out of the dugout. Like they would be 2 steps out of that dugout to go yank him just because of this groin, because he winced or something like that. It was absolutely brutal.
Well, and with Skubal, what's frustrating is you bring that up. The Dodgers are 80 and 51. They do not need to win regular season games right now.
Right.
So it is,
and we did.
Yeah, right.
We needed every game to count that he pitched, and we couldn't even crack 3-digit mark with him. Pitch count.
Who do you think is going to be less likable? Okay, bigger applause. I think we did this. Skubal or Alan Haller?
Skubal. I saw the Jake Rogers. The cry fest we gave Jake Rogers, which I understand.
Different
that he was,
situation though. He was cut versus.
But really, did he deserve? I mean, what is all this sentimental stuff? Like, I get with the guys in the clubhouse, and we had a couple decent playoff runs. But I mean, is it something where then he goes out with the White Sox and hits a fucking walk-off home run? It just annoyed me. It'll be Skubal because that'll be great too. And you know what's going to be great? He's going to pitch at Comerica. And they're going to pitch him 116 pitches deep into the 7th, right in front of our faces. Just another FU to us again. It's just constant. We're treated like we're idiots, and we're just, I don't know. It's just constant embarrassment as a Detroit sports fan.
Well, I don't really have anything else other than
I got 2 short ones.
Okay, give me 2, and then I'll do my last thing.
This is from the why people should hire the firm of the Rube, like damn it, I forget what I was going to try to say.
Start over, fix it in post, yeah.
But anyway, there was a commercial that aired. There's a company called Good Golf, and they are affiliated with Callaway. I'm not sure who Good is. I think it's for younger people, but they're like a golf brand, and they like to do things. Well, they came out with an ad over the weekend for their new driver. Apparently, they have a new driver with Callaway out, and they made a commercial with a guy looking over, and a girl's going to grab his driver out of his bag. He runs over and pushes her down to the ground, stands over her, and goes, "Don't touch my driver." And they aired that ad. Now, they ripped it off the internet and apologized and did all that. What I'm trying to say, the consulting firm, the Rube consulting firm, if you would have sent that across my desk, I would have watched that. I got halfway through and go, are you guys out of your fucking mind? You are going to actually air this as an advertisement.
Well, I mean, they might have done that 10 years ago in Britain. It would have been funny.
But it wasn't funny at all, because then it's like the guy menacing over, and like that's when you could do a bit there or something funny.
Right, you got to be funny.
Like, it was obvious that the girl didn't really get hurt, and we understand that. But with the way, the times of 2026, there's no way, especially in an advertisement, and then stand over her and be like, "Don't touch my driver." It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't work.
But the other one that trumps everything, it was just dropped an hour before we started this show, is San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York.
Hawaii Spa.
Was arrested, even worse than Hawaii Spa, was arrested Sunday in Ohio. Apparently at a trailer park in East Palestine, Ohio, and arrested for prostitution, trying to get someone in a trailer park to do a sex act for $140. The owner, and he has a mugshot and everything, San Francisco 49ers. Again, the Rube consulting firm would have told them, "Jed, what are you doing? You have a shit ton of money." Now, I'm guessing, I'm just speculating here, that if you are trying to do something nefarious in a trailer park for $140, that it's something that you just don't do normally. I'm not going to, I'm just saying, right? Why would you have to go there? I mean, we saw Robert Kraft actually go to a Hawaii Spa in a Bentley, and these guys are absolute, billionaires, not billionaires, to own a football team.
Yeah.
Just saying, those two things came across the Rube's desk in the consulting firm. What are we doing, boys?
Yeah, especially if you own a team, you ought to be able to handle your business a little more discreetly and carefully. And
did these guys know of Instagram and models on there? Though. You don't want to traffic them, but Anyway,
yeah. All right, my last thing. I would like to apologize to our listeners for my Premier League picks, which took several people down. I do think there are some possibilities next week that we're going to bounce back on the Firekeeper's Eye.
That even money parlay didn't hit?
It did not. The Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app has some good odds. Like, I love Man City at Crystal Palace. This Palace team I don't think is that good. -155 Man City. You can parlay them with I'll probably get something with we'll look at what Arsenal's getting. But they're
So which leg lost, the -1,000 or the -600?
Definitely the -600. The Man United lost to Hull City, who's the team that's supposed to be the worst in the Premier League, and I think will be the worst. I think you can over panic on that. It was a good performance by Hull City. It was a horrible performance by Man United, and so that was a bad start, and I apologize, but we will bounce back. Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook, been studying the lines, looking at mistakes I made, people I listened to that I shouldn't listen to, people I didn't listen to that I should, just trying to get it narrowed down for week 2. We will bounce back, and I will have those picks for you Wednesday. Again, Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app.
Sorry, buddy. We picked you up with the Norm's picks, hit a top 20. Gary Woodland and Alex Smalley to save our week and be profitable for another golf betting week. Last week, coming up this week, FedEx Cup Championship is happening this week, so hopefully we're going to have some better outright picks coming up on Wednesdays.
And beautiful. And also at Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook and on the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook. Dodgers, if you want Scooble right now to win the World Series, +175. I do not think there's any value in that. In the way the postseason, they may be the best team. They may be the best team by a little ways, but the way postseason baseball works, boy, that's dicey. But I'll say this, by the time you get to the second round of the playoffs, that line is going to continue to shorten. So, like, if you really want it, if you want to root Scooble on the way people rooted Matt Stafford on when if that's your thing.
No one did that except Nolan.
If you want to do that, Jump on now, the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. All right, let's dig into these listener takes.
Let's do it, man. Eric Schultz up first. Number one, Fox Sports rankings show MSU 120th nationally, 44 spots behind Toledo, and 37 spots behind Eastern. It's completely idiotic. If it's not idiotic, then holy hell, just fold the program at this point. And two, the problem with European soccer, there's no parity. Munich's won 13 of the last 14 Bundesliga titles. Real Madrid and Barcelona combined for 20 of the last 22 in La Liga. PSG's at 12 of 14 in League One. Even in the UK, just 5 clubs have won 30 of the last 31 titles. Why care?
Well, I think there is more parity in the Premier League. And you're right. The top clubs in some of the other leagues, like PSG is going to win the French league, Ligue 1. And certainly Bayern, they didn't win it, was it 2 years ago? But Bayern Munich is going to win the Bundesliga, and Real Madrid or Barca is going to win La Liga. It's not ideal. I mean, some of it is the hope of being able to take down one of those teams. You saw it in the Scottish League where Hearts nearly won it last year, and they have a similar situation. You see it with, one of the things that I like about the way the Champions League works in terms of Champions League places is if you finish in the top 4 in the Premier League, sometimes the top 5, but the top 4 always, and the top 4 in some of these other leagues, and the top 3 in France, you get into the Champions League, and that acts in a certain way like a second championship, almost like making a Final Four and having a banner, right? You don't win the whole thing, but you're in the Final Four. So that gives something else that's something to achieve and attainable, and it is imperfect. There's no question. And there's a lot more parity in American sports than there is in England. Although I think there's okay parity right now in the Premier League, just not, you do have in terms of finances and big clubs some real advantages. And but if you look at Brentford, which has a very small payroll, and you look at Bournemouth and you watch those two teams play last week, those two teams look like teams that will finish in the European places, teams that can beat anybody on a given day, look fantastic. So you can build something the right way, and that's sort of the fun part of it too. You can build something that's in ways you can't in this country. But yeah, there is no perfect system. So you make a good point. Are you awake?
Yeah. All right. Hey, Dominic next. Number one, while Rube took the critique in stride, I don't hear Jason cut Graham off unless it's necessary or soccer hell. I'd ask that listener to tune into Spartan Speak. Solari literally will speak for 19 minutes, then he waits for Graham to try to speak before cutting him off again.
I don't think it's that bad.
There is an argument that the Verlander Tigers reboot was as much of a dud as the Mancarini LSJ reboot. No wins for Verlander, no attempt at a blue wall takedown by Mancarini. Relax, Couch. I'm not shitting on your boyfriend. I just wanted more. It was a disappointing reboot for Mancarini, though, because he's right. Wanted more.
Well, he did a couple big things that I thought were really good. He did the big thing on hospital finances. No, well, yeah, right. I mean, it wasn't covering something is like part of the deal with getting him back was promising he wouldn't have to cover MSU. He left pretty much hating MSU. Like he didn't go there. He didn't want like he covered the Nasser experience for a long time. And when they talked about him coming back, he was like, I don't want to be covering MSU. And that was part of the deal. So you didn't see him as much around those things.
Someone tell him the Nasser thing was over? I mean,
Yeah, but still, he was sick of the whole scene. And he's in a place that'll be a good fit for him right now. But yeah.
Spartholomew, official football predictions. MSU over Kentucky in the Music City Bowl. Lions over the Rams in the NFC Championship game, but lose to the Bills in the Super Bowl. Bonus, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons all miss playoffs.
The Pistons missing the playoffs, I think, mean an injury to Cade. Like, I think even if in a really competitive East, I still think there's enough there, even if there's a step back to be a top 5-6 team for the Pistons. But that would be depressing.
Kurt Wisniewski, the MSU football wide receiver room will be awesome. Regardless of size, these guys have speed and great hands. It's now all about the quarterback play. I am now bullish for an 8-4 season.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as skeptical of receivers as I am of offensive line play. Like offensive line play, we're kind of a decade in now with Michigan State football, so I don't need to see it to believe it entirely. And And so when Pat Fitzgerald says, he's got a bunch of 1B guys, or not a 1A, but a lot of, 1B may be an exaggeration, but I think they've got a lot of guys who can make plays. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm willing to take that at their word a little more. But again, it's I don't know. It's an entire program that at this point is going to have to show juice for people to believe it, right? You got to have a moment. You can't tell people you're good
But at least Kurt's saying 8-4. Like, I like those expectations, so it's okay to sit there and talk honestly about a 6-win season is just ass.
But this is the 120th best team in college football, according to Fox Sports, as Eric points out here again. That's yeah,
I know.
Yeah, no,
it's just hard to talk seriously about like the 3.5, 4 wins, 5. Like, you're just like, all right, like.
And the thing about this MSU team that I think is a little intriguing is it's not. There were the one advantage to this era is there were years ago where you kind of knew your team was going to be crap. It's like they just don't have enough. We know what they have coming back. We've seen all these guys. They don't have a quarterback, or they don't have this or this. Because of the portal, because of the new faces, because of the new coaching staff, because of a quarterback who just got a taste last year and showed some promise, but we don't really know. Like, they could be fine. They could be pretty good. They could be exciting. They could have real grit defensively, or they might not be anywhere near good enough, and it could be a really long season. We just don't know.
Big John Hogg next. As a high school football coach, the scrimmage is necessary. Gets guys live reps, gets stuff on film before week 1, gets the game planning juices flowing. Need 10-week season with week 10 being the first round of the playoffs with every team making it. And bonus, starting school before Labor Day is ass.
I mean, people have been doing it for a long time. This does seem 2 weeks before Labor Day seems a little early, although Labor Day is really late. A lot of people are starting today. I don't get the people start August 1st, like Indiana. That stuff doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going to spend a month in the classroom in the summer, do June. Don't do August. I mean, the depression of like the end of July being the end of your summer. I don't even know how you.
But does that mean you get out earlier? So you
get out
break
Memorial Day, basically.
I mean, I would do that.
Would you?
I think so, if I got out earlier.
But you remember being, and I guess all these places have air conditioning. You remember when the papers used to like stick to your hands because it was so hot in the building?
What paper?
And when you were writing in school.
Oh my God! What school did you go to? They didn't have AC.
I went to Lansing School District in the 90s and the 80s.
I don't know. I went to Waverly. I remember.
You guys were fancy back. You were ahead of the game. Yeah, you guys were ahead of the game at Waverly. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was fancy boys over there.
Richard Kane next. I'm glad he didn't go to Russia in 2014. Putin was sending death squads to Sochi to catch and murder stray dogs. Russia can pound sand. Old Ukrainian proverb. Everything in Russia is shit except the piss. All right. Bonus, 80s soccer was lots worse than soccer today. Less skill, less sophisticated strategy and tactics. Trust me, as a player back then, if there had been an app showing Euro leagues, soccer would not have surpassed football. More likely, it would have turned off even more people and baked. The correct terms going forward: freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, 5th year. Anybody who starts referring to players as a year 1 or year 2, etc., is a dope.
I think this is the right answer. I think 5th year is what you call somebody. I think you still call a 4th year person a senior because academically that's what they're likely to be. I think the big thing is just understanding and knowing and getting used to the idea that somebody as a senior is never out of eligibility. Like the idea when we see the word senior, when we see that on a screen, when somebody says senior, you read it, you think last year, you think that's the ultimate veteran of eligibility. And now it's not. Now essentially there will always be another year. The senior never, so that is, and maybe you call 5th year senior, how you want to call it, but I think you're right. Senior, 5th year, and that just, a senior isn't a senior, essentially. They are a senior, but they're not a senior, if that makes any sense. The thing about 80s soccer, and yeah, I understand the concept that it wasn't as sophisticated a game and talented a game, but every sport has changed. 80s basketball to today, there are elements of the 80s we all look back fondly of, or at least those of us who are around in terms of who was playing, but the sport wasn't as physically taxing as it is today. If you look at, like, you talk about American football, if you put 80s American football on TV today, Sunday Ticket would go out of business immediately. It'd be like, what are they doing again? Another running play? What is that? I mean, now there would be some
What are you talking about?
There'd be some violence
Still
to
kill
it. I don't know, man.
Yeah. It would be amazing.
You think so?
Yeah.
You remember 80s?
I do. It's great.
And the number of 2-yard runs, man, it was like
but that's all we knew, though, back
worst
then.
of it.
We didn't know what was possible.
Right, but that's the same with soccer here. I'm just saying football wasn't that great either back then. I mean, other than, the violence was a little more and all that stuff.
The good old days. Scotty Green's El Camino. Number one, there was a lot of talk during Jonathan Smith's tenure of the program having no juice. Maybe there's a little bit more with Fitz at the helm, but I think this has more to do with the overall change in college football and complete roster overhauls. And two, Solari seems like that dude who really tries to impress you with how smart he is, only to then realize he's a douche and not that smart. I get all of this from the Spartan speak.
He is not a douche.
Blow to the head. Well, he's no Rube. So just.
Solari is no douche. Solari can be a curmudgeon, but he is no douche. That is a bit much.
Wow.
I think
A glowing endorsement.
Well, I mean,
This man is no douche. He can be a curmudgeon and a pain in my ass.
we can all be curmudgeons. I think there is something to the juice, the lack of juice having something to do with the overall change in college football to a degree. However, I think there's plenty of juice right now in Bloomington. I think there's a lot of juice in programs where people have been winning and they're excited. I think if Michigan State had won 9 games last year and was expected to do big things, there would be juice. I think you're right in the sense that it's the fact that you can't build anything. Here's where you lose juice in a situation that's a rebuild. Rebuilds are hard to have juice because you can't, it used to be you get excited about a freshman or you get excited about this or they land. That guy's just as likely to leave your program next year. You can't get excited about anybody coming in anymore long term. And so I think the inability to discover a player and be like, wow, that guy's going to be around for a couple of years. That guy's amazing. Like think about how people felt about L.J. Scott when Michigan State got him in 2015. Here was a guy who was a 4-star kid that Ohio State wanted to get him out of Ohio. He's immediately the starting running back. I mean, I know they platooned, but he has the spin to score the touchdown to beat Iowa, to send him to the Big Ten championship game. And I know his career didn't end well, but the feeling of not only is that guy a special player and is he a freshman, but you've got him for at least 2 more years. Like that, there's something to that. And I'm old enough to remember when Cedric Irvin first arrived on campus in Saban's second year, and he has 4 touchdowns against Purdue in that opener. Like that was a feeling of and he had a swagger to him. That was a feeling of people wow, this guy's around for a while. There's something to that. This day and age, be wow, this is kind of cool, but this is a 6-5 football team, and he's likely to transfer next year. So how do you get excited about that anyway? That's the problem with today, is you don't get anything beyond a year, and it's really hard to get energized. So if you're in a rebuild and you get somebody you think you can help you long term, but your team that year is still only a 500 team, how excited can you actually get when that person's just as likely to be gone a year from now? That's why a culture of retention, which Izzo has been able to do, and I think is really the key for Pat Fitzgerald, is developing, when they have big deal guys, keeping those guys, paying those guys, and allowing fans to get to know play. And you're going to lose some guys, especially in football. But the more guys who stick around that you're able to associate with the program and think this is somebody who's chosen to stick around, I think that helps. That helps in a big way.
Isabel in Williamston next. May I zag on the Pat Fitzgerald hype? UCLA and their new coach, Bob Chesney, are predicted to win a few more games than MSU. 6.5 versus 3.5. If we win 3 or 4 games, Dan Bartholomew will be itching to hire this guy.
He hire his guy, I think.
His guy.
I can't afford to get rid of Fitzgerald. They're paying Jonathan Smith for quite a while. I don't think the Mel Tucker thing's entirely settled either. So you are not getting rid of Fitzgerald anytime soon. And I don't think that, one of the things I like about Bartholomew, and I don't know him that well yet, but he doesn't come across as this guy who needs to have his own dude in. Does this ego guy, and he his the way he looks at Fitzgerald too in their early interactions, the fact that he was an interim AD at Pitt, and all these ceremonial things at a bowl game when it was his wife and their coach, and which I think was Narduzzi at the time, and then would have been Narduzzi, yeah, and And then it's Fitzgerald and the Northwestern AD would have been Jim Phillips, I believe, at that point. Anyway, you're getting to know somebody up close and personal, and you have a good impression of them. I think I don't think Dan Bartholomew is thinking that way. And I'll tell you this, Jay Batt, who I thought was more likely to be that sort of AD, was not thinking that way at all either. Like when the UCLA game happened, the first moment that it really looked like, okay, they're going to have to do something this offseason. They might have to do something here. And I know the Nebraska game was bad, but the UCLA game was the game. I know that Jay Batt was not happy. And he wasn't just unhappy with the situation. He was unhappy that he didn't think that was the situation he was going to be in, firing and hiring a football coach. And the fact that that was even a possibility all of a sudden was annoying. So I don't think all these guys are looking to do that and make those waves. It is interesting. A lot of people are high on Chesney. The UCLA is viewed as a 6.5 wins over MSU 3 is kind of crazy, given what UCLA was a year ago. So we'll see.
Means next. Either you or Solari need to invest in a can of WD-40 as one of your chairs is screaming out in pain at every moment on Spartan speak. Graham, are you trying to go for number 3?
I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair. Not like sweet the national championship's on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens. I just broke my chair for real. This is not good.
That is the best
The
one.
second one's so good.
Oh, my God. Let me hear that again.
Not like sweet the national championship's on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens.
I still remember.
How does a chair make that noise, dude? Like, bam.
First of all, I want to give props to the chair I sit on right now. Because this chair right now is not only going from me, and Michael Patrick Shields, who does the morning show, isn't usually in studio. But if he is, this chair goes from Michael Patrick Shields, not a small human, to me, not a small human, to Ebling. Back.
And that chair has felt.
I felt all of Fred Human.
That chair has felt all of Fred Human as well. So, like,
yeah, it's
might
a good
need to
chair.
be retired.
So, but the chair I broke the first time was
But don't
at my home
deflect.
office.
Seriously, what's going on with one of your chairs? Because you are a weird guy. Because like when we do a podcast, if there's like an outside noise outside of the studio, like my mic is off, but you'll hear something very faintly. You'll bring it up on air.
I get annoyed. Yeah,
right. So how is this?
It's a good
weekend
question.
You don't notice.
Well,
it?
so it must be on my end because I'm not noticing it because I have the headphones and I'm hearing Solari's end. So that's what's happening, and I need to get that changed. We'll just put a different chair there. It's because that shouldn't be happening. It's a nice office chair, but apparently it's loud.
But you beat up chairs pretty good though.
I do.
'Cause you like lean on them in a weird way.
I'm also
something
large,
rotund. No, you're not that bad.
Robust
compared to some of the asses that thing sees. That chair you're sitting on right now.
Fair enough.
Kevin from Rochester Hills. Number 1, the Tigers suck. Chris Ilitch doesn't care. 2, the Lions O-line is more important than Goff. And 3, intern Nolan will eventually take over for Stout with the Rube as his producer. Hut, hut.
Oh, Stout had a tweet the other day that cracked me up. Now I got to find this. Give me some Hoff real quick.
Can't be better than his Dan Bartholomew tweet.
Hoffy
Hoff.
Yeah. All right, so the beauty of Stout too is he only tweets so often. You can find his most recent tweet, but
I'm on Blue Sky.
No, somebody's trying to get off social media a little more. That I don't blame him. But so Magic Johnson was in town, and he had this big fundraiser for the YMCA, which I'm a member and appreciate. And I'm not knocking this event in any which way. I think this is great. But he said last night. Well, let me do it with the Tim Stout voice. Last night will go down as one of the more memorable nights in the history of Breslin Center. This community always supports worthwhile causes. Nearly 1 million raised for the YMCA because of the Johnson family's reputation living here all these years. Bravo. What cracked me up about this tweet, last night will go down as one of the more memorable nights in the history of Breslin Center. Yeah. This is a man who hasn't been to the Breslin Center but like once in the 14 years I've been covering the team.
Right.
How does he know?
He remembers what it's like.
He's
been around for 55 years.
But there have been a lot of really memorable nights at the Breslin Center in the last 14 years that this man has no idea. I mean, that's,
it's all hyperbole.
Yeah.
Listen.
It's like us having a good show and saying, this is like the most memorable show in the history of the studio.
I think we do that. Don't you do that?
Sometimes. Yeah, I do.
Every start of the show, you say it's going to be a really great show. I mean,
yeah. Something like
too much pressure. Jonathan Smith's burner next. Angry take. Chris Ilitch's ass. How many GM and coaches do the Tigers and Wings need to go through to determine that ownership is an anchor around their necks? The NHL season starts in 1 month, and we're just started interviewing for a GM. Unbelievable. And baked. An apple cinnamon donut with a caramel drizzle from Groovy Donuts would be the best donut they have. Would hit like crack in the 80s during football season.
Apple cinnamon donut with caramel drizzle. If you suggest that to Groovy Donuts, by the way, they'll probably do it. They might have something similar to it. Go to groovydonuts.com. And again, you tailgating this fall, make Groovy Donuts part of your tailgate. You're sitting by yourself watching football, make Groovy Donuts part of your weekend. It'll improve it.
How great would it be, though, if Chris Ilitch got caught up into something like Jed York did?
It never happens to the bad guys.
Oh, my God. I would be so happy.
Yeah.
I would celebrate that if Chris Ilitch got arrested in a trailer park in Ohio for solicitation.
Would you be nervous? Now, Ilitch is not the ideal owner of a team, but there are worse owners to have. Would you be nervous?
I'll let it ride. No.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yep.
I'm willing to take that risk.
I agree. I think there's enough people who would want the Tigers of Detroit roots that would step in and try to buy the team that would be better options. Yeah.
Would he have to get rid of the Red Wings, too?
Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
I don't know. Professor, all of the try-hard Tigers batting around 200 won't be on the team past this season. Torque, Karp, Vierling, and McKinstry. Are you sure? Are we sure? Baked pretzel sticks are the best shape, and it's not close. No rods or twists. Bite-sized and efficient. You never have to worry about breakage. Bonus is flavored.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fantastic. I'm just, my grubby little hands getting a bag of those. It's
I thought pretzel sticks are rods, though.
No, they're little things, right?
Oh, the little tiny one. Okay,
I'm thinking of the little ones.
The little ones. Yeah. I got you. I do like those.
Yeah, those are fantastic. Yeah.
Nestle's Quick Hotel next. The doom and gloom outlook for MSU football seems to be based on its low payroll. Did they not get like $1 billion donation? I know it's not all towards NIL, but how is this program back to shaking a cup on the corner?
Well, I don't think they are. And this is one of the things that I look forward to sitting down with Dan Bartholomew on. I look forward to hopefully very soon meeting with Pat Fitzgerald on this because I do want to get a better sense of where they are on this. And I don't think that's been very well answered. And Bartholomew was talking about how much Spartan Ventures needs to be explained. This is also part of it. It's not just I think what people need to understand is that, again, the $401 million donation, $391 to athletics in some sort, $100 million to Spartan Ventures. Most of it, a lot of it went to like capital project type stuff. To Spartan Ventures. But this is not the day and age where you as a donor are supposed to just be able to pay anybody. And so if you want to live above the fray, and I'm not saying you have to live above the fray, but that's not the way the money is being funneled. The money's not really being funneled legitimately by anybody, but that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And frankly, when somebody like Mark Cuban says he's paying for this or they're paying for this or that, like that question should be asked by reporters because that's not how it's supposed to happen. Now, if it happens through a company that Mark Cuban owns, that's different. That's how you do it right now. You use a third party, to create a sponsorship that's way, way, way over value, and that's sort of the bullshit that we're pretending is on the up and up. And I don't actually. My issue with that is not the actual. It's just if you can't do that, why can't fans or millionaires just pay the players directly? If we're going to pretend that an athlete is worth millions in endorsement money when more than NBA players get when they're not, then let's just let people pay what they want to pay. I just think that part of it's actually absurd.
Wendell next. Is Michigan as a 1.5 favorite at home versus a top 10 team an indicator that Michigan is better than we think? Michigan's fan base betting moving the line or neither?
Well, I think Michigan always is going to be a good team to bet against in certain settings because they have a huge fan base and people bet Michigan.
Right.
And so there are other teams like this, and the Cowboys are like
talking about Michigan.
The Cowboys are like this in the NFL. You always want to be a little careful betting their over on wins and things like that because a lot of people like to bet the Cowboys, things like that. So, I think what happens to Michigan, I think Michigan's got a decent talent base. I just think a lot of it comes down to how good the quarterback is, and you see a wide ranging of opinions, and frankly, it's just a sophomore. The problem is you come in with that much hype, and how does he handle that, and how does he handle some adversity, which is still going to happen. You're like a true sophomore quarterback with not a lot of starts under your belt in your life. I mean, he's going to struggle at times, but can his talent shine through more often than not? And I think that'll determine a lot of their year.
Kim from Brighton next. Does Graham know which of his articles or columns over the years generated the most page views? And hot take, Is this a hot take? 24-year-olds shouldn't be on any college rosters. Hockey, football, basketball, none of them.
24 seems a little low, just because if you're a fifth year. I mean, especially if you've gone and done took a year off. Like, I have no problem with somebody like saying, I want to go backpack in Europe for a year. And is that what most of these football players do? And then play and then start college.
Yeah.
24.
I thought that was like rich white kids, what they did.
That's true. But
like, I mean, how many people are doing? I mean, maybe now because you're getting paid NIL stuff, but like back in the day, that was like
my bigger issue with old, because I don't think there's a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old. It's not there's a difference, but not a huge difference necessarily. My big issue is the 19-year-olds in high school competing against 16-year-olds. I think that's a big problem, and so if you get rid of that, you'll prevent the older college kids too, because there will be fewer college kids starting older. If you just can't compete when you're 19, because you shouldn't be able to compete, and we're not doing kindergarten at 7, guys. Like, that's not what we're doing. We're not doing 8th grade at 15. Like, that's not what we're doing. You shouldn't be able to compete at 19.
Just crush it on the
think about that. Think about how, like, think of just in middle school. Think about how many different sizes people are in middle school. Like, if you roll up there, so you're a 15-year-old still playing on like a middle school team, you got 10-year-olds almost who are in middle school or like, haven't hit puberty yet. I mean, that's just ass, man. Like, freaking play to your age, go to kindergarten on time, and go to college on time, yeah.
And Graham can't answer the first one until his Mad Dog column comes out, because I'm sure that'll blow out the views out of the water.
I can tell you. Yeah, I mean, I see all the numbers. I would just off the top of my head, and I could be wrong on this. There are 2 that come to mind. The Mel Tucker column that I wrote overnight when I found out late that he was.
We don't have enough time.
When he was in deep shit, and I wrote
when he was sweating on the sidelines.
It was after his last game, and the column I wrote overnight, so people woke up sort of the news, and the piece I wrote about that he had probably coached his last game at MSU. That did an awful lot. And then there was during the pandemic, I wrote a few pieces. One on God, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it had to do with high school sports and priorities of certain things or whatever it was. And I can't remember everything, but that one did an enormous amount, and like $500,000 type stuff. That was those 2 did a lot.
It was like you misremembering the John Smoltz story. That was so great.
Yeah,
it's like all of a sudden that big ramp up. And
I wrote a few. I can't remember which.
You don't even remember what it's called.
Well, and sometimes what's real frustrating is it gets shared virally, and some of those things too when it becomes a national issue. And you'll write something that's better that does like 1/10 of that. That still does well, but you're like, man, this is the one I really want people to read, and this is the one everybody got a hold of, and that's fine. It was decent enough, but like there's that sometimes it's not even like your most memorable work.
Shep next. Rube, as a late 40s dad with some developing hair concerns, I feel you. You guys should get one of those Turkish hair plug companies to sponsor the pod. With your audience demographic, it would kill. A European guy I work with just did the Turkish hairline trip, and it looks great. Got to go all the way to Turkey? Yeah. They got nothing here in the United States? I mean, we can't.
The fact that
I'm not getting too bad. Like, listen, I have a good head of hair. It's just right in the back here.
The fact that I can't see it helps. Like that's
but I catch it on the blink cameras 100%. Every once in a while, and I'm like, God dang.
That's the worst. But what I mean is, when I look in the mirror in the morning, I don't see it. If I did, then it would be different. I'd be like,
It is correct. Yeah. It is easier to get through. Suburban Spartan dad. Enos Cantor seems like a fun guy at parties. Regardless of how you feel about trans athletes in sports, showing up courtside to shit talk WNBA players just makes you the biggest dildo to ever disrupt a game. And from Max. It seems like all of the drama in the WNBA is designed to attract eyeballs, but may be backfiring. Might be backfiring. MAGA is turning it into another culture war battlefield. That can't be good in the long run for a league that seems to have some good momentum.
It's certainly the best the league's ever been in terms of talent, in terms of ratings. Like, there's a lot of good stuff, but we don't.
Nobody cares. They just want to hear all the drama.
Right. And there was really good. Bill Simmons just did a really good podcast with Derek Thompson. And if I have his name wrong, I apologize. But they were talking about the just how everything we do now in sports is so much about the sideshow. It's about the reality show that goes with the league more so than the actual play on the field. I think the NFL may be the one that is not this. The NFL is the one that we still live and die with the games as much as anything.
It's a big enough distraction without having to have a lot of the stuff they're trying to do in the WNBA.
And the athletes are in helmets, and they're not as well known. Yeah, the WNBA has some of that going on. It's just they're causing themselves. But then you also get people are just trying to use everything there for their own culture wars. And as Canner is doing is just he's just a jackass. I mean, whatever you feel like, you can have any opinion you want on trans athletes and playing in women's sports. And that can be that there's absolutely a discussion to have there, and my feeling on it has changed slightly. But what hasn't changed is people who just use it as a way to be bigoted and anti-trans, and a lot of people do that because ultimately it's a very, very small percentage of people who are affected by it. And if that's what you're enraged by, there's so many other things that are so much worth your outrage, including other things within women's sports and women's opportunities that we, especially in a misogynistic culture, we don't give a shit about. So, like, to me, I again, conversations to have, but like, if that's your thing, like, why is that your thing? There's a thing I always
shouldn't we talk about how the WNBA is going to blow a great opportunity with Caitlin Clark and to promote your league?
But she's not even the best player. I think that's fine.
But see, she's the people want to see Caitlin Clark. Yeah. And you're not promoting her, and Nike didn't put out a shoe for a long time. Like, listen,
their ratings are pretty damn good. I don't know. I think they're doing.
That's what I mean. How can you blow this?
They'll be fine. They just need to get a better commissioner.
Not that good of a player. I don't know. I don't watch it, so
I'm not saying she's not that good a player. I'm just saying she's not their best player. She's not their most dynamic player, and is the way some people think. And she's a beloved
Caitlin
player.
Clark isn't?
No.
All right. Well, I'll let you have that one. Okay. Ben Chalice next. Daquan Wright got paid by the Browns for NFL preseason work and was waived. Now he can go back to college and get paid to play for LSU? WTF? Serious question. What are the academic requirements to be a student athlete nowadays? Classes at LSU begin today. Is Wright enrolled?
Yeah, I don't know. I do know this. It was interesting. I was talking to a guy who had worked in athletics. I was talking to him about Dan Bartholomew, and he'd worked a lot of different places, including with Bartholomew, and knows him a little bit. But he had, in his stops, not Bartholomew, this guy, he had worked down south. He'd worked at MSU. He'd worked a lot of places. And he just talked about how different it is down south in terms of caring about the athlete overall. Like down there are a lot of places where it is just about let's get them boys eligible. Like they do not care what they become. They do not care if they're well-rounded. No, but like that is truly the culture, and it's a lot better up here. Even though there's a lot of, a lot of people care about athletes for their athletic ability. But within the university structure, there are a lot more people in the Big Ten that are trying to help these people also be good, citizens and better students and all that stuff, and actually care about that stuff than there is down there. And so who knows? But if it's LSU, look, LSU's hired Will Wade twice, right? So, yeah.
Gruff Sparty is the best Sparty next. Number one, I'm so bored that we're back in the July topic zone. Fake NFL football is happening. No real info about MSU. Basketball is dead for now, and Tigers aren't worth blank. 2, Janet in Plymouth, or is it Pontiac, laid down the absolute truth last time. I'd love to hear more takes from her.
I don't think she's in this show, Janet, but yeah, Janet's good.
That she hated Bailey-Onis? Is that the one?
I don't remember which she's had some good takes. She's strong. She's strong. Yeah. She could host this show.
Thomas Zambiasi next. MSU football and the Detroit Tigers are cut from the same cloth. Both historically important programs with great success in the 2010s that currently nobody really knows what they're trying to do. I also think Tigers fans are the most MSU-coded Detroit sports fans. Like what? What does that mean?
I think there's more to that, and I cut it off.
Oh.
I apologize. I think there's more the explanation, but in terms of, but maybe it's.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
great
just
success. I guess great success in the 2010s that currently nobody really knows what they're trying to do. I think people know what Michigan State's trying to do. It's just whether they can do it. The Tigers are a little more. I think we know what the Tigers are trying to do. It's just frustrating sometimes, right? Because we have a sense of what Scott Harris wants to do, right? Do we not now? It's just like, could you do more? That's the issue. I think
he's willing to sit there and watch his bullpen burn and not make any moves.
Yeah,
and keep trotting these MFers out there. That's what he's willing to do. Spartan 18770, number one this morning, as I was sitting outside on the Peanut Barrel patio area pounding cans of Labatt Tall Boys, there I saw students returning onto campus. I could only imagine that this is what Roman citizens felt on August 24th, 410 AD, as the Visigoths entered a sacked Rome. 2, the beginning of a college football season is always a great and exciting time, but it's also a reminder that summer is coming to an end in Michigan. # winter is coming.
I do love the feeling of fall, though. I do too. Man, I
really do.
That tonight or this morning, I was out on a walk with Cora at like 6:15 in the morning. Not light out yet. A little too early for her, as it turned out. She fell back asleep for a minute, and street lights are getting in her face. But
really sets a scene.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't know what else to do. It's like, all right, we went out for 2 hours. Let's see if this will do it. But there was, it's 52 degrees out. I had to put a hat on her, but it felt great out there. It felt like football season. It felt like fall. It felt like things were happening. It felt like muskox flannel weather. And I was in a muskox flannel, also in basketball shorts, but still in a muskox flannel, pushing Cora around the neighborhood. It was fantastic.
You always take it a step further, though. I'm with you, like football, the fall, I'm thinking the sun's still out. You're talking about dreary 6 a.m., cold and
dreary.
Dark. Dude. 50 degrees and dark out is dreary. Like, if you want to talk to me, like when it, like today, like right now out there, it looks great out. I like that stuff.
Well, I will say it felt like football season out at MSU football practice today. Like it was, not that mid-fall camp, like sweat coming down your back crap. This was like 58 degrees, just cool, sunny, but muskox flannel weather.
Luke Bunge next. Woke up to one of Graham's bets of the week, down 2-0 to Hull City. His relegation pick. Premier League is so back.
Yeah. Funny that I took a little nap and woke up to 1-0. It was already 1. I was like, oh my God.
Isn't that the worst when you wake up and your bets are ass?
Well, it's not great.
I've done that with golf, and I'm just like, trusting the process. Just spent my paycheck on Hull City last place. Can't wait to see how much they lost their first game by. Oh, wait. Bonus parent take. You have to do the cry it out method. It hurts the soul, but it's so worth it long term.
Can't do it. I've heard people do that. I just can't let her. Now, we don't immediately run all the time. We let her try and self-soothe. But
what do you count to 10? 10 Mississippi in your head?
No, it's just, there gets to a point of misery.
Don't do it.
Yeah, come on.
Don't go.
Well,
okay, I have to.
When it's not going to get any better. Like with her, it's just like, all right, she's not going to self-soothe. This isn't going to wind up with anything but her just screaming her. It's not going well. I still think, by the way, Hull City, you might be able to get a better price now if you can still find it out there for finishing last. I still think Hull City finishes last. I think they're the worst team in terms of talent. I think it'll bear itself out. It's a long way, but I am also aware that Sunderland last year I thought was going to be pretty bad and wound up getting off to a great start. So it's always a little nerve-wracking when that happens. I still like that bet, though.
Spartan Degenerate, Newcastle top 10. Lions to win division. F Michigan.
I think Newcastle's got a chance to be better. Yep, for sure.
Chris, Arsenal are doing Invincibles Part 2. Spuds and Man United are going to be in a relegation battle, and I finally understand why American soccer fans say that English soccer has a comparable atmosphere to college football. Another incredible start to the Premier League season. Come on, you Gooners.
So Chris was in London for this. It's the closest thing that is a comparison, and I think in terms of atmosphere, in terms of passion, in terms of just giving a shit and being just very much siloed in your own, the rivalries and the hatred. Like the NFL, the Lions, Bears, Packers. Yeah, that's fine. But it's not like a college rivalry. And the rivalries over there are much more like that. The derbies, as they call them, when two clubs in the same city play each other or whatever it might be. And some of the real, Arsenal, Tottenham, right? These things are personal.
Kyle Parkhurst next. Number 1, Coventry City was the wrong choice. It's not too late to switch the experiment to Hull City.
It is.
Infinitely more entertaining and fun to watch than boring. Stodgy Coventry. Mauled by the Tigers is such a hilarious chant as well. And from Mish Guy, you're cheering for Coventry City? I think you missed on Hull City. Meh. Whatever. They're both going back down along with Tottenham.
Oh, if Tottenham goes down, I hope I can deal with any other result in the world. It would make my year. The Hull City, I watched a lot of Hull City, and I understand they've signed a few guys. I watched a lot of Hull City in the championship last year, the next division down, and I don't think they're good. I think this was a great start, and I think Man United didn't finish well, and Yeah, let's watch another.
Can
week.
we get more golf questions? Where are my soccer or my golf boys at? B-Mac? I mean, come on. Write something in for me. Give me a break of some of this shit. Bonus. Kyle, bonus. The location sharing is not that crazy. I'm in my mid-30s and have several friends and my wife's location.
See, there you go.
No, Kyle doesn't mean it's right. Why are you following, or why do you know where your friends are? I know, listen, I'm an old guy. I'm 47. I just think it's wild. Like I said, my wife has her location on. She tells me like her directions when she's driving back from Illinois. But other than that, I don't need, like, if she's running errands or something. I don't know. Like, why would I need to know where my friends are? Well, I would need to have friends. But I mean, if I had more friends, like, why I wouldn't need to know where they were.
I mean, teenagers do this all the time, from what I understand.
Well, I get that. Yeah, we can't put them in it. Like, I understand if you were a teenager, that's like the whole thing. Because it's Snapchat, right? Snapchat does that.
That's the culture that they're coming up in, so they're going to do this forever. And young people,
but when you get older, you change how you do things.
I'm telling you, it's for convenience. My wife trusts me completely. I don't ever think, oh God, she's following me. I don't go places that I shouldn't be going. But it's so helpful. Like, I used to call my wife all the time. Where are you at? You want to pick up this food? Now I can look. Oh, she's still in this store. Maybe I don't ask. Or maybe she's already passed the place I was thinking about. Don't need to text her. It's very helpful.
That's what you do. It was just interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
Mish Guy. Next, what do you think about this MSU basketball lineup prediction? Fears, Kurtang, Jordan Scott, Cohen Carr, Anton Bonk. Kurtang starting over Cam Ward? Only if they need a shooter to space the floor. Izzo values defense more.
Yeah, and so that's basically saying that you're going with Cohen Carr at the 4. Look, there are a million lineups that could happen.
Cold day in hell before I give up on Cohen Carr.
We don't know what their best lineup's going to look like. The thing about Kurtang is he's been injured and he's been out most of the summer. And I think that is going to set him back. He was already a guy who was, going to be battling for playing time this year. I would be very surprised if Kurtang is in the mix over somebody else. I think there are scenarios with a lot of other situations, especially with Cam Ward and Caleb Glenn and Cohen Carr, that you could tell me any sort of mix in a couple different positions for those guys, and I would believe you. And so, but yeah, I think that's one of the more interesting things, and one of the important things that Izzo and his staff get right is you have to give certain lineups a chance. You have to figure out what your best groups are. You got to play a lot of guys. There are going to be some growing pains in doing that. But when you ultimately figure it out, it's not apologizing for it. It's realizing, and they have gotten there the last few years. It's realizing, okay, Jace Richardson needs to be in the starting lineup, even though he's a freshman, and that moves somebody. And that sort of stuff can happen, and they're just going to have to be, they've already been kind to these guys by not messing with the roster. His fifth years were available or anything. They've been loyal. But it ultimately comes down to performance, and you just got to make sure they pick the right 5.
Mark next. Thierno Barry is going to be comeback player of the year in the Premier League. And bonus, Brentford and Brighton are the 2 best teams in the league outside of Arsenal and Everton. And Liverpool are going to finish mid-table because Wirtz and Isak are complete ass.
Isak, yeah. I also think Bournemouth is pretty good too. Brighton, we'll see. Brighton looks good. They look really good. Aston Villa's lost a lot of players. They're in a weird spot. That was at Brighton. I want to see another week there. Brentford, I agree with. I think Brentford is legitimately good. And one of the things I love about, going back to Eric's point at the very beginning about how only 5 teams have won the Premier League other than the Leicester City win a decade ago, that is true. But you have some teams that are, the equivalent of resource-wise, Western Michigan or Central Michigan that have just done it well and are now teams that can challenge for European places, and that's really cool. And so there are a lot. It's like being a mid-major at some of these levels, and your championship is different than the other team's championship. You make the Sweet 16, you hang a banner, you throw a parade. It's just a little different.
Couch on Fire, number 1, I don't know what was worse, our sucky Tigers or Kansas fans and players acting like it was the World Series. And 2, good time of year, mornings are like early fall and afternoons are summer. And 3, Jason, Wyndham Clark for Player of the Year. Thank God, Couch on Fire, for a golf question. Absolutely. There's nothing better than Wyndham Clark's life right now. Absolutely, stunning play yesterday, and I've been impressed by him in each of his wins this year. So I don't know. It's up to him and Scotty, I believe. So
you know what I wish we had right now? See, this is this period of time where, and I get the U.S. Open tennis tournament is starting this coming Sunday, so we start to have a second thing leading into football that gets you through that last week. But, man, I wish we had one more major golf tournament like this last weekend. You know, that would have been awesome. Like, right around now, we could really use – I wish they were just spread out slightly differently. And maybe it was this year because of when the World Cup was and we didn't need them when they hit. But, like, this, to me, would be the time to have the last major golf tournament.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Sparty Barb. Number one, congratulations to MSU women's soccer on a gutsy performance against North Carolina on Sunday. Kennedy Bell is fierce. A gritty road win against a top 10 team. Go green. And 2, bonus. Thank you, ACC Network, for broadcasting the game. While BTN was busy airing boring football training camp reruns, you gave us the chance to watch an incredible match, and best of all, I didn't have to pay for BTN Plus. Go White.
Big 10 Plus is ass.
Let's go green. Go God.
The MSU women's soccer team is, if you're looking for like a storyline and a non-rev to have some fun with this year, like they've been really good for a while. They were, I don't know what they're ranked today. They were in the top 5 before going down at winning at number 7 North Carolina over the weekend. Like Jeff Hostler's had it rolling. This may be the squad that legitimately has a chance to make it to the College Cup and do something. They're really good, and they've had some trouble staying healthy with some key spots in recent years, and we'll see if that happens.
Ben Jen, number one, I take Pat Fitzgerald's comment about Cam Edwards being the best back in the country, just as I do when a player says the goal is the national championship. Obvious bullshit. What else is Fitz going to say? I think he sucks, and I'm left with him because 90% of the team left, and we have no money. 2, you wrote in your hot takes column that the Spartans could go 5 or 7 or 7-5 and be the exact same team. I think you meant to write, I don't know. And then it could go either way. You're nothing if not consistent.
And my takes in that column were basically things I've said on the show, but you start to realize, you're like, I need a column.
The Spartans could go 5 or 7 or 7-5 and be the exact same team. 100%. That is perfect.
But it's about the opponents, right?
Hang that one on the wall. That's great.
I don't I like your first of all, I like Mr. Benjen, obvious bullshit line here with the Cam Edwards take by Pat Fitzgerald. But here's why I disagree slightly, and you may be right. But every coach at the beginning deserves to be taken at their word until they're proven otherwise. And he went really strong on Cam Edwards. So let's see what he is. Like, nobody ever went that strong on Nate Carter. You know, like, that's a really, really strong thing to say. And if he's wrong, the problem is then as you start to say that stuff going forward, you shouldn't believe him, and you shouldn't really use that stuff. And it's like, all right, well, that's just hyperbole. So to me, when you're a first-year coach and you put yourself out there with a guy like Cam Edwards and the expectations for him and how good you think he's going to be and what you've seen from him, I appreciate that he did it. But there is some pressure to be right about that.
Olivia in Birmingham. Number one, would most Spartans take Fitzgerald only winning 4 games, but Izzo goes to another Final Four? Seems likely to me. Bonus, did your families do Frankenmuth day trips growing up? Unsure if that tradition extended into the Lansing area. If you have no idea what Frankenmuth is, a kitschy German-themed small town an hour from East Lansing. Famous for gigantic restaurants, plural, serving all-you-can-eat chicken dinners and the largest year-round Christmas store in the world.
It's like the opposite of Firekeepers Casino. However, also a good place to visit. That was my attempt at a live read off of something that's nothing.
Is that a good comp?
I don't know if it was
the opposite. I don't know. People probably have a great time.
Have you been to Frankenmuth?
It's been forever. Yeah. When I was a kid, one of those trips that they're mentioning here. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I need to go back because I do love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's something you should do. And the Christmas store, Bronner's is like.
I just don't like people.
Well, that's a problem.
Right. People, so, I love the Bronner's, the thought of it all, but, going there knowing there's just going to be people everywhere.
If somebody likes Hallmark Christmas movies, I appreciate Bronner's. But and I appreciate the whole Bavarian-themed stuff there. But I went. I have memories of being there at 10 and then again at, 17 with my family. And, it had fond memories only. So it is definitely a day trip you make in Lansing for sure.
Spartan Johnny, number one, Nolan's last words on his final internship podcast was tacos. That was plus 25,000 at the beginning of summer on the Firekeeper Sportsbook app. And I almost sprinkled because I figured it's summer and you guys could have a Tuesday show at some point, considering no days are sacred. 2, the amount of shit that Jason rightfully gives Graham for his Hallmark Channel infatuation was nearly undone when he picked John Mayer as the person he would see alive or dead in concert. Did I hear that correctly, bro? Effing pull up a chair at Couch's Hallmark bingo party, Rube. 3.
You're always welcome.
My Tigers under 75 wins bet for $615 went from an almost lock in the late spring to no chance in hell in July. To a what in the F this might actually hit in late August. Graham's prediction of 77 wins on the last show made the underside of my nuts hurt like an unexpected sneeze. First of all, Johnny.
Yeah.
John Mayer is the fucking goat of all goats. And I said that I would go see the Grateful Dead. But, like, if I had one living, John Mayer is the effing man. So, like, I'm sorry. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. We have his Sirius XM channel going on in our house at all times. And I love John Mayer, and I'm not going to deny that. So, sorry you don't like him.
That said, you're still welcome at the Hallmark bingo.
I mean, it is
parties.
funny because guys like him, like we go to John Mayer concerts, like the first one that T and I ever went to, like we ended up sitting down next to another couple, and the guy was right next to my seat, and he looks at me like one of those like, yeah, he had to do this too, huh? And I'm like, no, dude, I wanted to be here. She's actually here because of me. And he's like, oh my God, that's crazy. Listen to his music, and you tell me different. The guy's a virtuoso.
Hey, man, you're talking to somebody who likes Les Mis and Mamma Mia.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't compare John Mayer to that crap.
To the under 75 wins, actually, at Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook. I cashed out on this when it was about even money because I got nervous, and then I used it all on my World Cup futures, which hit because you're right. Like I was going to lose my original 86.5, right? Yeah, no chance at that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna. I don't think they're going to. In May, I was like, these guys are awful. They're not going to hit 75. Then I got nervous in June, and I was like, all right, let's change this out.
It would be so interesting to watch you go, like, open your book and just go through your thoughts of what you're thinking. Yeah, like I would watch that.
Yeah.
If that was on YouTube. Dave Lakin, Graham, I'm glad that your wife trusts you so much that she needs to track your cell phone. Quit trying to blame it on picking something up at Meijer or stopping at Groovy Donuts, although that is a good excuse. You must love the flock cameras, too. And bonus, intern Nolan actually had a great idea. Like Harper's, you guys should sell Couch in the Rube line jump cards so that the card holders can move up to get their takes and questions read ahead of Eric Schultz instead of waiting an hour to hear a response. Name the card cost.
The problem with this would be, and you know, again,
$1,000.
Yeah,
Dave.
You too can be a made man for, but the problem, Dave, you usually have very good takes and questions, but if you get somebody who's like just not very good, and they're like they always have to lead the show because they paid this. That would be the problem.
John Freeberg up first. He would have to pay, though. That wouldn't work. The Jacob Sailors of Southern Maine next. Number 1, my family uses a phone tracking device, supposedly, in case something goes wrong. I know it's because my wife doesn't trust me. Jason is right to laugh at all of us for being surveilled by our spouses. And 2, how does a listener referencing Scott Skiles from 1986 in their username not know Ebling?
It's a fair point. I mean, Ebling went in the locker room after Antoine Joubert said that they were going to beat Michigan State or whatever he said, and met Skiles in the shower and told Skiles what he said, and then
Ebling, let the man shower.
Yeah, and then Skiles had like 40 the next day or whatever. That these are the
you hand Skiles the bar soap. Can I ask you a question?
He dropped it. Oh, here you
go. Whoa.
Sorry.
Joe H. As a 40-year-old who grew up in the Lansing area, bring on all the niche sports, radio, and media references. During my summers working as a college student, I filled my days listening to Mad Dog and Tim Stout. After living out of state for the past 15 years, hearing about them along with Ebling, Human, and of course Hondo adds to the enjoyment of the show. Oh, the Lansing lore. Cheers, guys.
Appreciate you, Joe H. Yeah, we enjoy talking about it, too, because it is part of our culture here, and we know it's only some of the audience, but it's fun.
Oh, my God. Please, Joe H., email me. We can talk. Ken Chu completed some circles in Kingston, Ontario this past weekend. Had such a glorious time. Even the Tigers can't bring me down. #ForeverHip. Bonus, Rush concert on Wednesday is going to be epic.
I love Ken is loving life here. Ken Chu, awesome. This is how you do late August. You don't sit there stewing about sports takes. And, I mean, listen to our show, please. But, otherwise, just
enjoy
have a blast.
Rush, dude.
Yeah,
that's going to be great. Skyler, nothing gets less engagement on here than Red Wing questions. You guys should just not include them. Cue Jason saying he needs to watch more hockey, but we all know he never actually will. That is true. I understand that, and it's wrong.
Yeah. I feel bad sometimes that I don't have a more – people keep asking them and giving them, and I just don't have a more educated take, and yet here we are.
Can't even give you a take about Michigan State football this season, let alone Red Wings that are coming up here.
Fair enough.
Hans Jurgen, number 1, Alessio is a better quarterback than Bryce Underwood. 2, Graham edited or censored my Friday question. I asked, would you have sex with a chicken? If not, would you break for one? 3, a robber broke into my house over the weekend but ran out in horror because he discovered me masturbating.
Thank you, Hans.
You left that one in. Bonus.
I had to do these. I was doing these quickly after I spilled coffee all over my laptop.
Masturbating. Bonus, Graham should go to war with his readers like Deshaun Watson has gone to war with Browns fans. And double bonus. Ever watch that Rasputin by Boney M music video on YouTube? I watched it once and is now constantly in my feed. It's like the video will never die.
Never change, Hans. Never know what's
Dude,
coming.
I would love to watch a football Sunday with Hans Jurgen.
Yeah?
Yeah, he sounds like a blast.
I'm
serious. I think he would be fun.
Absolutely. Creative mind.
Stories.
I mean, the thing about Hans that I appreciate is he is sometimes grotesque and a little crude, but he's creative.
Right. Yeah. Jake Hawkins, another creative guy. Number 1, I didn't even watch any of the Tigers games this past weekend. Hell, I didn't even subscribe to Detroit Sports Network to follow and watch Tiger games, and I'm still ever so pissed. Losing 3 in a row to the Royals? WTF. Can't football just be back already, please? 2, so pro players can just go back to college thanks to being granted a 5th year of eligibility? What the hell? I agree with Oregon coach Dan Lanning. Once you're in the NFL, you're done with college, period. 3, so most area schools start this week? Again, WTF, all caps. I remember starting the week leading into Labor Day weekend, but it seems like school starts up earlier and earlier. Then again, it could be worse. I heard some friends that from friends that Indiana school started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they did. My sister's back in school. I mean, she teaches, or she's a speech pathologist in Indianapolis, and they were back in like end of July, and they have a little different schedule too. But yeah, end of July they were back in.
But don't kids they get so much time off now, right? They're going to go back to school. They're going to have don't they get like a nice weekend from the holiday?
Yeah, I mean,
going back for a little bit and then you get off.
Some of these places get fall breaks too, like a week off in October and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's not awful. To me, I would rather like suffer a little into June and then have all of August. That's just my own
we didn't get so
preference.
many breaks when we were younger.
They did not. But then
that's what I mean. Like
they discovered after we were done that giving us like 12 straight weeks in the summer and having us lose all the information we had learned was not. It was why we're so stupid today. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I can blame it on?
Yes.
All right. And finally, the upper deck jerk guy. I think it's time. Nolan and the Rube. That would be rough. Bonus, I think I need to restock my bourbon supply for Spartan football season, especially after the Tigers' recent games.
Well, you should always have bourbon, but also a groovy donut. That's the best thing to restock. Get groovy donuts all, every Saturday all season. You'll feel great no matter what happens. No, that's not true. I can't spin it. But do make them part of your tailgate. And if you want to have a bet on the season, the season totals, the -10 for Michigan State against Toledo, whatever it might be, download the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app and check it out. And or go down to Daisy's Taproom and Sportsbook and experience a college football Saturday right there live at the Sportsbook. A lot of fun to do. We'll be back Wednesday. I think we got a 3-show week.
What?
Yeah, 3-show week. That one to be happy. Yeah. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Rube.